Okay, so I got the alternator out, and you can see the space it came out of right there. And it actually was not too bad once I figured out a couple of important things. First of all, one of the very first things you want to do is get the serpentine belt off of it. And to do that, all you have to do is put a 14 millimeter Allen on the belt tensioner down here and just pull up on that belt tensioner with a 14 millimeter Allen. So basically you're just pulling against the pivot point that has the tension on it. And so you're not turning that bolt, you're not loosening anything, you're not taking anything off of the tensioner, you're just taking the tension off the serpentine belt. So you take that serpentine belt off, and I left it on the rest of it, so it's all still routed. So all I have to do is put the new alternator in there and put it back in the loop of this serpentine belt. And then in order to get it back on there, I'll have to do the same thing. I'll have to put this 14 millimeter wrench on the tensioner and just pull it up like that. The other two keys, there's a couple of electrical connectors and a couple of bolts. So these two bolts, it actually slides on all the way down, those two bolts. One on the top and one on the bottom of the alternator. And there's a third bolt that goes through right here that goes all the way through the alternator and into this. So these two studs stay and just nuts thread onto them. This bolt is another 12 millimeter head, so you're going to use your 12 millimeter. You only use the 14 millimeter for the one thing, the tension, to pull the tension off the tensioner. You're going to use your 12 millimeter for most everything else, and then there is one or two little 11 millimeter bolts out of this electrical connector. And I think that's pretty much it. There is a second small electrical connection, which is this one, which is actually much easier to get off once you take the alternator out, because the retaining clip for it, which if I can get where I can see it with my light, you can't, it's on the far side, so you can't see it to push that retaining clip till you take the alternator out, and then you can push that retaining clip, pull that right off of there. It just slides right into this connection here. So there's two electrical connections, one just cable hanger, and then three of the 12 millimeter, two 12 millimeter stud nuts, and then one 12 millimeter through bolt. So that's it. That's the old alternator, and we'll see how the new one goes back in.